FREQ.
Welcome back, guys. This is our fourth episode.
Episode number 4.
Episode number 4, for real. So thanks for listening, whoever's listened, or if this is your first one you're listening to, welcome. This is going to be like our first Dolo podcast. Just
first one since we started.
We don't have a guest today.
Yeah. Yeah, so what's the rundown for today's episode?
So today, what we're going to talk about is just basically like celebrity children in the spotlight, artists, musicians, just kids. How that can affect you and just like what we've seen and how, you know, like kids just kind of lose their childhood in a way. But we have like a few different people we want to talk about regarding that.
Let's start off with Amanda Bynes.
Yes.
Who you showed me some videos before this episode. I did not realize where she was at in kind of this, what looks like spiraling, very away from her industry roots, looking for help, but also like getting involved in rap music. It's a really interesting combination. And the first thing that I thought of when you showed it to me was like, is this a troll? Like, is this real? Or is this like,
literally. He's
is
like,
this
is
just
this a
being
real,
like,
her real YouTube and shit?
Yeah.
Because she basically just made the YouTube in January and like posted one video of like her and her boyfriend or whatever. And she's just like rapping to a song that she was playing. And then the second one, I don't know how many days after, but the second one was a song with her and this dude who, I don't know if it's her boyfriend or another artist, but it's literally a 58-second song. It's not even like a full song.
Yeah.
It's just very fucking random.
And the bars weren't good.
No, definitely not good.
Yes, there's a lot of girls trying to be female rappers now, and you got to come with it at this point. There's too many like really good female rappers for you to just come in and be a novelty for just like getting on the track.
Yeah, and like honestly, I feel bad. I mean, I'm not gonna say I feel bad for Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, I'm
but,
not
she
100% on the situation
has been
in her personal life.
In the spotlight since she was a little girl. So like we can just kind of start talking about this.
Yeah, shifting the conversation into being a child star and what that does to you. And I think we're seeing a lot of that with Britney Spears too, who we're going to talk about in a little bit. What is it that's so damaging about that, do you think?
I mean, honestly, like back in the day, like you kind of saw like in magazines and like just like sexualizing little girls. Like little girls were always like little girl celebrities were always just like supposed to be so perfect and beautiful and like wearing like little bits of makeup or whatever, always like having this perfect hairstyle and just like, always like looking perfect. And then it's like, what's going on behind the fucking
it's super
scenes
creepy.
Of this,
That's like the creepiest
who are
thing
these
imaginable.
little girls working with, like they're working with grown adults, like men mostly. And, it's just like they're doing so much, when you're a fucking actress and, even a music artist. But, we're talking about Amanda Bynes right now, but she's just been, in all these movies since she was a young girl. And then, the Amanda Show, that was like huge.
Yeah, what's your best memory from the Amanda Show?
Damn. I loved like the movie rental, like the fake Blockbuster thing they did, and like
what parody?
Yeah, and Moody's Point, and oh my god, Judge Judy.
The skits.
Wait, not Judge Judy. What's her fucking name? What was her name?
I'm not gonna remember it, but that was such an early show to do skits really well, and I feel like it really informed a lot of the content that people now bring to YouTube, or just even like being a comedian now in social media is like making some good skits that are a lot
Yeah,
like that type of
seriously.
content.
And like that show was all about her, you know, she was acting in all these different roles in that show. So, you know, that's like, I feel like a lot of pressure to like do all these, like act as all these different people in this one show, and you're just basically like trying to entertain people live and like make people laugh. And like she was just a little girl, like, you know, that's that. But then, you know, as she got older, like you see like all these issues like starting to happen, like drug addiction. And I just remember I was following her. This was probably like 4 years ago, maybe like even more than that. But I remember she was like going into like fashion school and like trying to like be a fashion designer and, you know, do all these things that she's posting about. And then you see like, you don't hear from her for a few years. And then she pops back up and she's like, oh, like back in fashion school. And it's like, yo, what's going on with her? Like, it's just like, you don't see too much about her, but then like you saw like all these pictures of her looking crazy with these wigs on, and like, you know, people making fun of her. And like, dude, like people are making fun of somebody who has like a mental illness and like a drug addiction and like has just been clearly like through a lot of trauma. And that's another thing, like it's a very sensitive subject and people just kind of like make jokes about all this shit.
And
like,
that's kind of like internet culture now. Let's just make fun of it.
Let's just make fun of them. And like you don't even know what they've been through or what they're dealing with. All you see is like what they're posting. So, you know, and she never really like opened up about all this stuff either that I know of. Like, you know, she just kind of will post shit and then not post anything. And it's like, who is like even in her life at this point, you know? Like, where are her parents? Like, you know, are they in her life? Like, did they get her into this situation, you know? Like, did they, like, fucking put her in the scene so much that it fucked her up and they kind of just, like, didn't care? Like, I don't know. You know, you just don't know.
There's a lot of questions. And I think there's also this kind of element of you're living your life backwards. Like, your career is in the beginning of your life and you're making all this money, and now you graduate to this like all this time and all this ability to do whatever when you're still trying to kind of like form yourself as who you are as a person, your identity away from being in front of a camera. And it's just not easy. So I understand where a lot of it's coming from. And yeah, I think especially now where, you know, there's not enough kindness going around the internet. I think what she needs is like kindness and support. And I feel like you're not going to find that just anywhere.
And it's like she really like lost her childhood, you know, like maybe now she just like wants to have fun and like do things, but she's just like, you know, she's probably like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say what she's feeling, but you know, that's probably just a lot to deal with, like not being able to live your childhood, and then now you're an adult and you're just, like,
and you're trying to get it back. And I think we saw Michael Jackson kind of doing that too, right? He never had a childhood, and now he's trying as a full adult to have it, and like creating the ranch and all these things. So the question, I think, is, should being a child actor be illegal based on all the evidence that we have? Is that something that we really need in society? Or how would you put rules around that?
I think it just needs to be like healthier, like the way it works. Like make sure that this child's parents have the right intentions and don't just want to use their kid to make money, because that's what it comes down to. Like, what the fuck are these parents doing? They're not doing anything except for, like, I mean, not all of them. Of course, there's great parents, actors, parents and shit. But, you know, like, I don't know how Amanda Bynes' parents were. But from what I see, you know, like, how did she, like, turn up the way she did? Like, you know, she obviously was, like, really just so tied up in acting and modeling and whatever that, you know, she didn't get to be a kid, and her parents just like pushed her into this shit. And I feel like, you know, just kind of figuring out what parents' intentions are, like kind of, you can just see if somebody's just like throwing their kid out there to make money off of them, or if they actually care about their kid and want the best for them and just want them to like live their dream. But
and I think
when
with the
you're shoving
parenting,
a little kid into acting at a young age, it's like a kid doesn't know what they want to do for the rest of their life. Like when you're an actor and you make it, like that's what you're gonna be doing for a while, you know? Like that's paying the bills, that's supporting you. So you're not just gonna one day be like, oh, my kid's done with this now. Like you're gonna be greedy with the money. Just like looking at how society is, you know, our country runs on money. So once people are making money, they get greedy, like naturally.
But I also think when it comes to parenting, a lot of these parents are projecting onto their kid the life they wanted for themselves.
Yeah.
I was never an actor. Oh, but here's my kid, and now I've learned all these lessons of how to not be an actor, and now it's going to be very easy for me to get them in.
That's so true.
And I think, you know, like you said, you have to make the better decision for your kid.
Yeah, and just being there too, like making sure you're always there, because you never know what the fuck somebody's doing with your kid. Like, you know, just like making sure you're there behind the scenes when your kid is underage, you know?
Being present. You can't take them off the leash because they need guidance at that point.
Definitely.
Because you're living in this adult world, this very adult world, without too many other kids around. It's a lot to take in. Let's talk about Britney Spears.
Yeah, let's talk about Britney now, because we actually
also
know
wrapped
about
up
her.
in some just like conspiracy type stuff. Because what's the last thing Britney kind of like officially did or said on this issue? I don't know.
I mean, I haven't been keeping up with her recently, but I just know, like, the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, break that down.
A lot of, like, I was seeing, like, videos of her dancing, and, like, at first I was like, oh, this is funny. Like, she's just acting like, I don't know, she's going crazy dancing in her crib, and, like, she wasn't bad, but it was just, like, very dramatic, and, like, she was very serious, and, like, it was just kind of like, what are you doing, you know? Like, are you practicing for something? Or, I mean, whatever, you're just dancing around. Like, cool, everybody dances. But, I don't know, they were just, like, these videos coming out that everybody was laughing at. Then I started, like, following her and, like, paying attention. And, like, people were posting on TikTok that she was kind of, like, crying for help. And, like, she was wearing certain colors. Like, somebody told her in the comments of one video, like, wear this color in this next video if you need help. And, like, she wore that color in the video.
Now we have to say how much of this, because this is starting to sound like, I don't know if you follow QAnon, but there was this kind of dude that was like, oh, Donald Trump's going to tweet about this. And so Donald Trump tweeted about it, but it was something that was like on the calendar that he was obviously going to mention.
Yeah.
What percent of this do you think is conspiracy? What percent of this do you think is like probably truly her making secret messages to her fans?
Well, there's like a lot of like legitimate facts about how her dad basically like controls her. Like she's on certain medications, and she's basically like there's a word for it, but she basically like is still a kid and controlled by her parents. Like she can't make her own decisions. Her marriages are set up like at this point, like whoever she's dating, like that's set up by her parents. She can't leave her house. Like there's crazy like facts out here that are just like, you can't just like go by that, you know, like let that go over your head, because these are facts about a grown fucking woman. Like she's probably in her like 40s now.
She's probably getting there.
And she's literally locked in her crib because she can't like say things that she wants to say because she's being watched by who knows, but being controlled by her dad. I don't know about what's good with her mom, but I know that her dad has a lot of control over her, and you know, being on all these medications, obviously she's not going to act like a fucking normal person. She's going to act like, you know, she's clearly out of it. She looks like a fucking robot at this point.
Right. So I think what we're getting at is we're seeing a lot of examples of what not to do in this post-entertainment career type of life. And my question to you is, what do you think is kind of the milk and honey, the ideal dream life for somebody of that person's stature to be having?
I mean, just having control of your life and being able to like make free like decisions and not think about, oh, what is this person gonna think? What's that person gonna think? Because Britney's situation is even similar to people in a record label deal. You know, like they're being controlled. Like people can't just freely drop their music that they're creating. Like they're making this themselves, and they want to release it, but they can't because this label is trying to do what's best for them or whatever, what they think is best for them, or, you know, doing certain interviews, like watching what you say. Like we've even saw Kanye like talking about how he kind of changed the whole way he talks. Yeah. And like, damn, like I'm proud of my Boston accent. I'm proud of like the slang, and like, you know, I don't have the best etiquette maybe, like I don't use certain words that other people do, and like maybe I look dumb because of that or whatever, but that's me. Like, you know, like I'm not gonna change myself so I can be this perfect human for society, in society's eyes, you know, like.
And I think that is the magic of these artists, is not only do they bring incredible music, but they bring who they truly are. Yes. And so I think there needs to be like a wider acceptance of that just in the entire entertainment industry. Do you think things are going to get better on this stuff? Because I think there's just so much of this being kind of flagged and people trying to bring attention to this. Do you think things are going to get better? Are you hopeful or not?
I think it could if more people just kind of realize that they don't have to do what people tell them, or don't feel like just not caring about judgment, you know, and just kind of doing what they want to do.
Right,
and not
because feeling trapped is a bit of a feeling, right? Yeah. Kanye had all these contracts with I forget what his label is, but he did this thing where he posted all his contracts on Twitter. Yeah. He like scanned them and uploaded them for everyone to read. That. And so I think that's like this important way of like, okay, you're under contract, you have these whatever NDAs, but you still have choices within that. And so finding new and creative ways to express yourself and kind of give yourself that freedom. Yeah. I think is the way forward. Yeah, seriously. And even like, you know, record labels are great for a lot of people and being signed, but for a lot of people, like, you don't need it. The indie route. Like, we're seeing a lot of that too. We have social media right now, like, greater than ever, like, the way that you can really get yourself out there. Get yourself out there. If you just take advantage and have a solid team of people around you that have the best intentions for you, like, I really think that's all it is. Unless you want to be a billionaire, but shit, being a billionaire is not going to solve any of your problems. Unfortunately, like, we've seen Kanye, like, Kanye wants to do all these great things, and he talked about it, you know, like, when he was able to speak to these powerful, rich people of the country, he couldn't make the changes he wanted because they don't want those changes. They don't want everybody to be happy and everybody to have money. Unfortunately, like the most powerful people in this country, they don't want that. Yeah. So when you're going the corporate route, just because you're getting up there and in that position to maybe be able to do all these things, like that's not what it takes is the money. Like it's whatever like you can do at whatever like just being able to say what you want and affect those people that you can, you know, with your words. But
thinking that, like, I used to think that too. I used to want to be famous and rich and, you know, have all this shit so that I could change the world. But it's not that easy. Like, unfortunately, it's just not. So, you know, just kind of just doing what makes you happiest is like true happiness.
Yeah, I've noticed that too as I get older.
Yeah.
The sustainability of doing what you like is where the ultimate win is going to be.
Yeah.
And I think going the corporate route is always going to be an uphill battle.
Yeah.
Like that whole lane was designed to be just like this ladder and just very treacherous. So.
And you even saw like NLE Choppa. Like,
I've seen a lot of different things.
So there was just a lot about him, like, you know, he was just becoming more spiritual.
Yeah.
And like just more woke and like, you know, eating clean and like promoting all these like great things that you don't see rappers
doing.
Like,
right.
Talking about like what they talk about in their songs and then like being on this. Like he kind of just flipped this switch. And he even, like, tried to make some different music, you know, same style, but, you know, talking about different shit. And his label wasn't having it. They weren't having it. They were like, nope, like, you can't fucking drop this shit. Like, they wouldn't give him that freedom. So it's just sad because now he's, like, being somebody that he's not so that he can make money.
Right.
You know? And that's just sad because that's what society wants. Like, yeah, they're going to sign all these rappers, offer them all this money when they have nothing. And obviously they're going to be like hyped and take that jump, take that deal.
But it's not such a great deal right down the road.
And then they're trapping them
and
they don't know because they're coming from nothing. And this looks like the best opportunity, something that could really help them out, help their family out, help their friends out. And, you know, it's just like, I see it as really taking advantage of people that are just like, you know, they just don't know better. And it's just sad. Like, there needs to be more awareness of like being signed to labels. And like, that's why.
And I think there is.
Like, that's why I think Clubhouse is so great because there's so many people in the industry and so many like people that just know how shit goes that are just kind of making artists more aware. So I think that's like dope that at least like the awareness is being brought about, and you see a lot of artists even creating their own labels now. And even just being like co-signed, or, you know, there's a lot of artists that are just doing like what's it called? I just like blanked out. But like basically just like getting their music promoted instead of like signing to
kind of like a deal that only happens for a certain part of your business.
Yeah, basically just no, there's a word for it. Like they just get like they literally just like get your music out there.
Oh yeah, the distribution.
Yeah. So a lot of artists are doing distribution deals, which that can be tricky too because you still don't really have the freedom you want as much as you think you do. But at least they're not like tying you down for real. They're just distributing your music. So, you know, like there's just so many different routes that should be looked into more because that's what's going to just like make shit more natural and like just make more people feel like they can do the same thing, you know? Like,
yeah. And I think you're exactly right.
Not feeling that pressure of being signed.
The passing of information is going to be the key to kind of unlocking a good future for everyone. Because I think the cat's out of the bag and everybody's now shifting to what makes most sense for the artist. And that's what all these new tech businesses that are building in the music space, like that's what they're going for, the artist-friendly deal.
And in general, just victims of abuse and people who have been through trauma. So this is something that, you know, everybody, to be your best self, you have to deal with this trauma. You have to accept things about yourself and just make sure you're living your best life and always happy because we only have one life, you know? Like, we need to make it the best and take the help that we can and don't deny that help, you know?
That is a good place to end it. You know, move towards a brighter future. And it is work, but it's the work that you really do need to do for yourself. Mm-hmm. So, we'll end it there. Hopefully everybody has a good week. FREQ podcast. And we're signing out.
Peace out.